good morning and welcome to another Monday morning art talk. So before we get started today, I just wanted to let anyone who's interested know that I'm taking applications for my March semester of my home studio mentorship, where I just accept just the 5 students into each class. So you can go onto the silvertunes.com website, and under the classes there in the home studio mentorship, if you're interested, you can fill out an application and send it along. All right, so what I want to talk about today is, drum roll, just the idea, because I hear it a lot, again, as a teacher, where just a lot of people who are drawing, they're doing their thing, and I get contacted a lot. I do the Skype sessions with people, I do the mentorship programs, I do a lot of these things. Yet I find just a lot of people are wanting to they have this illusion of always just wanting to fix things. Okay, now granted, there's a lot of people that, of course, we all need work, right? We all need some sort of self-growth. We need to improve. We want to better ourselves. That's, I think, just the most important thing of just life in general, is just growth in every facet. That's what we're always trying to do as we go from chapter to chapter in life, is just try to grow. But I also just want to say that there's also that mindset where I see a lot of people are sometimes confused with sacrificing their own personal style, okay, for growth. And there was a saying that I heard once, and it was just that feeling outweighs the technique. And I completely believe in that in many different ways, okay, where the feeling of your art, the feeling of what you're trying to get across and show, does sometimes outweigh that technique, because you may have just this very crude sort of style. Now, that's not necessarily going to lend itself to animation per se, where it can. Okay, we've seen things like South Park and some other just horrible looking shows, all right, that are out there where the technique is just like it's horrible. I remember one time a producer had called me up to design a show, and they said, now we want you to design the show, but we want you to design it as if a 6th grader was drawing the show. And I said, listen, this isn't for me. They just wanted a crude sort of look. So that's granted, okay, but again, the feeling of your artwork can, in ways, say more for fine art, right? So we see some fine art, but you look at a painting or you look at something, and the feeling of it is just like, it's not the most beautiful, the best draftsmanship we've ever seen in the world. And sometimes we confuse that, with the draftsmanship, where we see people who are very successful and their draftsmanship is horrible, but it lends itself to a certain medium, a certain genre, so to speak. And I think it's just very important to sometimes identify that within yourself, because you don't just want to be, my drawings are just, I just need to fix it. I need to fix it. Yet I've seen personally some people's styles where I go, I kind of advise you almost not to, in a way. And I think it's important to know that. I say, why try to fix that? Because sometimes you could take away from your own personal voice. And that's not always the best thing, because that personal voice makes you distinctive, right? That's what gives you that your own personal, feeling, your own voice. Again, it's your own way you walk, the way that you talk. I mean, it's a voice that you have, that style. It's even like, you could say, like, look at Jack Davis, all right? So hopefully a lot of you guys are familiar with Jack Davis. Maybe a lot of you guys aren't. Great Mad Magazine, and beyond, just from, you name it. Just research Jack Davis artist. You'll know what I'm talking about. Now, his stuff is brilliant, and I like it, and it's beautiful. But when you look at his work, sometimes the way that he would draw things, his personal style, there was such a feeling and energy that the actual draftsmanship technique of it, like he'd have 10 knuckles in one finger, or, it'd just be so crazy. Like, technically speaking, that's wrong. But it didn't matter, because you can't judge something like that sometimes, all right? Like, you could look at a very loose, crude, rough drawing, say, from Glenn Keane, or even you're looking at something from Milk Hall, and you're looking at their very early, crude drawings where there's nothing there. There's no draftsmanship, so to speak. There is the draftsmanship, but there's no details. And the idea and the feeling of it is just like, wow, man, look at the feeling, look at the energy, look at the life that's in that pose. And that's the thing you want. But granted, there's a lot of knowledge underneath there, which makes that happen that way. But you can't, and sometimes you get someone else who goes to clean it up or do something, and it looks horrible. Now the draftsmanship aspect is being judged, and it's not there. So it comes down to, I think more important, you got to know what it is that you want to do. Okay, and this is what it really comes down to within your work, because I would say yes, for an animation standpoint, maybe for certain studios, there's a certain studio look, there's a certain thing where you're going to be judged on the technique of how well you can draw. You know, you can't just have a portfolio and be like, oh, my stuff's sort of like crap and crude, but that's how I draw. Hopefully you'll hire me, because, you know, I don't really want to work too much on my work, but this is my style. This is how my style is. Yeah, you got to be conscious of that. You got to be, you know, tap into reality a bit of making, you know, real, you know, I don't know, just an awareness, you know, not falling into my parents love it, so to speak, that my friends are telling me how great it is. But the reason I say this is because sometimes I do come across different artists and go, you know, I really hate my stuff, and I need to fix it. I need to know what's wrong with it. And I look at their work and I go, you know, yeah, I could definitely tell you got to maybe incorporate a little bit more understanding of proportion. Maybe you got to understand a bit more gesture. Maybe that'll bring more life into your pose. But sometimes I look at it and go, that's really, you're steadfast on your style. And maybe animation isn't the right area for you. Maybe you're not supposed to be a versatile artist, where you got to understand in animation, the more versatile you are, the more job opportunities you're going to have. I don't care who argues that point, but that's the reality. If you can adapt to many different styles and understand a lot of different sort of just all around, from character design to storyboarding. You know, you've seen storyboards which are super tight and just like, wow, blows you away, and some that are super crude, but the feeling, the energy, the characters, the storytelling, the humor is in there, and that's what makes it work, and that's what people need to see. And I think, so what happens is, because of our own personal wanting to grow, which is, again, human nature, we feel the need that we just got to keep learning and keep getting better. So, yeah, I commend you on that. And I, again, advise you never want to stop. You can't just say that's it. But, again, comes what I really want to get across with this art talk is, really know what it is that you're trying to say. I'm going to turn off my heater right here real quick. I apologize for that. And what I want just to honestly say to you is, know where you want to see yourself. And I remember there was a particular artist who I was meeting with through Skype, and, you know, again, wanting to improve upon his artwork. And, you know, granted, yeah, he did need to get better at understanding construction and get better at certain, you know, bringing a little bit more life into his characters, a little bit more understanding of composition, so to speak. But he wanted to get into animation, you know, and he was in, you know, maybe in his late 40s or something, and wanting to get into that. Oh, and not only is the air conditioning going, but here comes my phone. Hopefully my wife will pick that. Thank you. My wife picked it up. But what I, you know, advised him, wanted to get into animation, wanted to do character design, wanted to get in the animation industry. And in all honesty, my advice to him was, he had such a strong, unique style in what he was doing, the way he was doing it. No, was it the best draftsmanship? No. But there was a feeling there, and there was a distinctive look to it that, even though things felt wrong about it, it still felt right and would be perfect for book illustration, for like kids' books, and doing things like that would be, you know, moving into that world of illustration. And those are the things where you need to identify that maybe that's your calling. Maybe that's what it is that you need to sort of pursue amongst everything else you're going to do within your career, is finding that sort of focus and moving yourself in that direction. So the more you get a better understanding of knowing where you want to be in this art field, because it's a competitive, I'm not going to lie, it's a competitive field, man. There's so many of you guys out there trying to get in, just knocking at that door. Please, sir, let me in to the studio. And the studio systems are changing, things are evolving, and this is, I believe too, just that the world, we're living in a world now of just the independent artist, where you seriously need to start thinking about developing your own properties and doing your own things, building your audience and getting out there and showing your stuff, and not just relying on the studio as the end all be all, for your existence. It's too temporary, in many ways, and the jobs aren't always going to be there, and you got to understand your competition, who's out there, who you're competing with, and are you going to compete with people just by, well, I'm going to compete with them by charging less? All of a sudden you say, well, that guy's charging $500 for the design, I'm just going to charge $100. You think you're going to be happy making a living just doing so much work all the time and getting piecemeal, just $100 here, $50 there, and think you're going to be content? You won't. You're going to want to start just getting into a field where, you're making a living, as an artist, and you can do it. But this is the tricky thing, it's like, it comes down to really what this is all about with your own personal style and your own personal work, is really trying to figure out where you can fit in. Now, we are living in a great world and environment where there's so much content needed, and it's getting more and more and more and more people. Like I keep saying it every time, you guys have heard me say it 1,000 times. I mean, it's getting competitive in the realm that, you got the Hulus and the YouTubes and the Apple, and everyone's trying to get into this entertainment industry. I mean, it's the largest industry, in the world. It's just huge, and it's growing, and there's more. We just need more. We need more. And that's what everyone's looking for. So you got to discover for yourself, where do you fit in? What sort of artwork platform could you go in? Is animation the animation industry the right entertainment? And the animation industry is television animation. Is it, feature animation? Are you getting into doing animation for, mobile apps, moving into that genre, that area? Are you moving into illustration for, books or pamphlets, graphic design? Where do you fit in within that? And constantly seeking of new ideas and looking outside the box, and realizing that people need art for something, somewhere, to do something. But how assertive are you? How driven are you? Because that's all part of this too. Do you have that drive? Do you have that real momentum that's going to push you forward? Do you know what it takes? Do you understand what that's going to involve? Are you aware of that? What are you doing to improve? But again, coming back down to where I started, is sometimes don't feel that you got to just completely switch up your style. If you don't have the desire to get into the animation industry, say as character designer, prop designer, background layout, all these things, you got to be versatile. If you don't have that desire, maybe what it is that you're doing in your own personal voice, your own paintings, your own way, is really what people, there's an area for that. There's a market for that. But it's up to you to find it. And no one else is going to do that for you. You're the one who has to constantly be on the lookout and researching constantly, trying to figure this out to make this work for you. But again, don't throw away the feeling of your drawings, because again, you're going to look at something and just don't get so tight. Don't get so tight with your work. I see that a lot of the times people get so tight in their work. And if you don't know what I mean by that, that just means just getting so stiff in your pose and your drawings, to where there's no feeling anymore. You've lost that feeling. You've lost that personality. And that's what we react to. We react to people's emotions. We react to feeling. We can listen to music, and that feeling of that music can put us in a place which can inspire us and can lift us up. Otherwise, it can bring us down. And that's what your main focus that you want to really do, is think about that within your own personal artwork too, and where it is that you want to go. And never give up. Keep looking out there, keep researching, type in Google art jobs and look at, see all the different jobs that pop up and see what's even out there that you didn't even know existed yet. And these are things just to focus on. All right. But that's it. But this is sort of thing that when I meet with people through my Skype mentorship too, that I'm working with them through, I'm just trying to help guide them. And sometimes I do see a true weakness. They say, well, I want to get into this entertainment industry, which I advise because, it is a big industry and it's growing and booming. But I do just once, I'm trying to advise them and help them, well, maybe you do need to work on this. You do need to pursue, maybe this area, move into that section, that marketplace, that might be a better choice for you. But again, know what it is that you want, because you're the only one who does. You got to have that, desire. I was thinking about it the other day. What is my own personal want in life? What is my own personal desire? My biggest, greatest personal want is just to provide for my family, but in an abundant sort of way. Okay. And I'm not talking about stay at 5-star hotels and fly, doing all this, living in luxury, driving a limousine somewhere. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, I want to provide for my family in a way that we can just, when we want to go on vacation, we can go on a vacation. When we want to go out to eat, we can go out to eat. That we're not just scraping by. We don't get to enjoy those, little things. We want to go to Disneyland for the day, or we want to do something, we can afford that. That's the sort of thing I'm talking about. It's not like, well, I want to provide for my family. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean, well, you just want to have food on the table, roof over their head, clothes on their back, But hey, you can do that in many ways. I could go to the Goodwill and get clothes and provide for my family that way. I could live in a trailer and provide for my family that way. So you almost got to determine in what facet do you want to provide for your family. So that's part of my idea of a goal setting, knowing what you want in a direction. And once I've determined that, well, then everything else that I do with character design and teaching is really my true heart and true passion in life right now is through that. But that comes out of, again, just knowing what it is that you're really sort of searching for within your own artwork too. Getting sidetracked here, that's what I do. All right, thanks so much. Thanks for watching. Make it a great week. And again, if you guys are interested, feel free to just apply for your application now for my March session 8-week course that's coming up out here in rainy today, Simi Valley. All right, have a good one. Take care. Hello, this is Steven, and I just wanted to tell you about this cool thing that I'm doing right now through my website at silvertunes.com. It's a Skype mentorship. In a sense, what I want to do is just talk to you, meet you, tell me about things that are happening in your life, see if there's anything that I could do to help you. I can look over your artwork, do your portfolio, and just maybe try to push you in the right direction that you want to take your life and your journey. All right, so you can go to silvertunes.com, go to classes, click on mentorship, and you can learn all about it. We can try to arrange a time, set up a date. It doesn't matter where you live in the world. And I just wanted to make it just very affordable, just to open it up, because I love doing this. I love meeting people from all over the planet. It's a really cool thing. And with this technology, why not? So that's it. Thanks. Whoa. Hey. Go back. Go back.
Go back.
Great. Go back. Go back. Ha ha ha.